Hey everybody, welcome back into GoBlueRaiders.com. And this time of year, things get a little slow on the field, but it's an opportunity to catch up. And as we turn the page going into July, Chris Massaro always joins us, and we do at least a one-part, if not a two-part interview, and kind of talk about the state of the program, where things are. And I think the first thing we can say is, as we wrap up 2015-16, incredible year.
It's one of our best years we've ever had. And you look at it, just the competitive piece of it, we finished 91 in the Learfield Cup, which measures all sports for all universities, the 346 universities. We were 91. We were the top all-around program in Conference USA. And so that means a lot to me as an athletic director, because we try to be excellent in everything that we do, Chip, and that's really important. And to be one of 10 teams, to be in a bowl game, and the men's and women's basketball tournament, that also separates us into some company that we like to be part of. And so we had a great year, and I'm looking forward to next year as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And you talked about the Learfield Directors Cup. You got points for the bowl game.
Right.
Got points for both teams going to the NCAA basketball championships, and men's track got you a lot of points there as well, which was huge.
Yeah, I mean, with Coach Hayes,
the rookie,
finishing in the top 20, the rookie, he came through for us, as he always does, and we finished 18th in the country in track.
Yeah.
And that's a phenomenal accomplishment. He does not get enough credit. We had a guy that finished third in the javelin, and fifth in the 800, and seventh in the 800. So we had some great individual performances with track, and then Chris Adams going back-to-back Conference USA championships with women's golf. I mean, to me, that was really a statement right there, is that, you know, she won it one year, and that's great. And I always like to see sustained success, and boom, she wins it again. And they had a great year. They won a lot of tournaments and really carried over their success. So she's done a great job.
Well, and let's kind of backtrack a little bit. We'll kind of work backwards. You talked track, you talked women's golf.
Yeah.
Let's back to basketball,
Okay.
where you talk about sustained success. Coach Insel's teams have just been unbelievable since they've been totally consistent since he got here. And the level of success that Kermit Davis and the Blue Raiders have had, you know, nearly 130 wins in about 5 years is pretty awesome.
And I look back at that day in Birmingham where we won the men's tournament. Then later that day we won the women's tournament. And that's one of the greatest days in school history. I mean, both teams winning their tournament, both teams going to the NCAA tournament. It didn't get in the same roof, and it didn't get any better than that. We'd been sniffing at that kind of success. The men have been good for the last 5-6 years. We're winning regular season conference titles, but we hadn't broke through and won that tournament title. The women have always kind of maintained that standard, so it was really special for us to win them both. Didn't surprise us, but it was still special.
You know, having been around here as long as I have, that is, to me, is one of the most special photographs or pieces of video of both teams on the floor with their trophies.
With both trophies, both teams. And it says a lot about our program, and I think it says a lot about our coaches, that they root for each other, the players root for each other. They're happy with each other's success. And I think that's what builds our basketball programs, because both of them help each other. And I do believe in that. The rising tide lifts all boats. And that's really true with our basketball program. So I love that picture, Chip.
Yeah.
And to me, we've got cheerleaders in there, and
the band.
We've got some band in there. And so it's everybody, all the students that really contributed to those two trophies are in that picture, and I love that picture.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and it was just that was, you know, we thought, hey, what a great conclusion to a great basketball season.
Little did we know.
Little did we know, a week later, the biggest win in school history. I think no matter, and I'm one of those stalwarts that was hanging out with the Kentucky win for a long time, but I've got to give it in, because, you know, when you look at the 2-15. And you look at the impact overall, it's a no-doubter.
Yeah, my memories really go back to that Selection Sunday, and where the bracket leaked out. I'm hoping, like, you look at it and go, God, we're a 15 and we play Michigan State. That can't be right. We're much better than a 15, and Michigan State's better than a 2. That can't be right. So the rest of the bracket's rolling, and it's going accurate. So then the reality sinks in that, God, we are going to have to play Michigan State. And so that was a tall order. And I think our guys were really upset about being a 15 seed. And I think I've heard stories that Perrin Buford was maybe the most upset one, and he didn't want to do any media interviews. And I think that they really closed their ranks, and I think that helped us, because they were fighting for their respect. And then they went out and just took it right to Michigan State. And I remember we would have lost a lot of money if you bet which coach is going to take the first time out, Izzo or Davis.
Yeah.
Because Kermit likes that early timeout.
Yeah, he's not afraid.
No, and there was no need for him to call a timeout early, and Michigan State took it. And I remember looking up at the scoreboard, and the score was 15-2 at the first timeout that Izzo took. And I said, well, those are our seeds. Maybe that's an omen. I'm sitting next to Mark Owens, and maybe that's an omen, Mark. And it turned out that we never
trailed.
We never trailed. We always led. Every time they made a push, we pushed back. But I'll tell you, and you're probably the same way, Chip, that I get more remarks, not only about the quality of win and how we played, but almost equal to that is how our players and how Coach Davis, the interviews and
how they handled everything. Yeah.
And I think it really showed what Middle Tennessee is all about. Those 48 hours in St. Louis or whatever really put us on the forefront.
Yeah, it makes you want to go back to St. Louis.
It does. It does. We need to get back to the NCAA tournament, because that's some fun times.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that in our second segment, but to kind of, as we go backtracking to wind up this segment, football season, another bowl trip to the most unique bowl site anywhere, but it speaks to the consistency of what Coach Stock has built.
Yeah, and I think that's important to note that, last year, if we're doing this interview, we did not know who our starting quarterback was going to be. And obviously that was a great competition, and Brent Stock still wins that and throws for 4,000 yards. He's just a freshman. And we have a freshman All-American in Richie James. And then we beat Marshall in triple overtime here, double overtime here at Floyd Stadium, and that sort of set the wheels in motion and go to a bowl game. And the Bahamas Bowl was great, and we had a big time. And I really believe our football program is now a platform for even better things. That with those young offensive talent, bringing back Tony Franklin, I'm so excited about the next 2-3 years for our football program. I think they're going to take us to places we've never been before.
We're going to wind this segment up by going back to right where we started. The Learfield Cup, we finished so high in that, and you would think you would do that with a senior-laden athletic program, but Middle Tennessee had 3 freshman All-Americans this year when you take Blake Benefield into account, and you also have Alex Johnson, who was a freshman of the year in women's basketball. So the future is bright, and like you said, we're not at a stopping point. We're at a taking off point.
Well, and I don't know if we're going to get into this segment or the next segment, but it is important to note that Blake Benefield, Murfreesboro, Alex Johnson, Murfreesboro, all freshmen, and Brent Stockstill, Murfreesboro. So all 3 of those names that you mentioned are all from right here, and so I think that's important. That it is cool to play in your hometown. It's cool to succeed in your hometown, and I hope the hometown really gets out and follows these guys, because it's going to be a fun 3-4 years watching them play.
So maybe our town, our teams.
That would work, wouldn't it?
What a nice segue. We'll talk about that more in our next segment. Join us more with Chris Massaro here on GoBlueRaiders.com.